Now at 5, IMPD officers indicted, and today in court, their jobs on the line after accusations of excessive force. What their attorney is now saying.
More unemployment aid on the way for Hoosiers, but how do you know if you qualify? We are working for you to get those answers.
We have a generation of students who will have had a year and a half of instruction interrupted by COVID.
And that could make even more difficulty by gaps in internet technology in some rural areas of the state. We're finding out what's being done to help students who lack connectivity.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
Welcome in. 2 Metro police officers charged in a violent arrest caught on video are ready to fight for their jobs and their reputations. Thank you for joining us. I'm Amanda Starantino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. Officers Jonathan Horlock and Nathaniel Shawwacker both face charges of battery and official misconduct. The arrest happened in May during a riot after a peaceful protest downtown. The video shows the officers hitting a woman with batons and pepper bullets while another woman was pushed to the ground. The officers appeared in court today, and afterwards their lawyers met with reporters. John Kautzman says both men were simply doing their best to protect the city of Indianapolis. He says they were following orders and acted within legal parameters. He also says the situation was traumatic for everyone involved, including the officers.
Well, as you can imagine, it's a sobering experience for them to live through a weekend that they described to me as one of the worst weekends in their career. The worst weekend that they can imagine any police officer suffering through with regard to what was going on in our city downtown. The amount of violence, the bricks that were thrown at officers, the rocks, the frozen bottles, everything that you can imagine, including fires being set haphazardly across the city. And finally, city officials on the 3rd night decide to institute a curfew order, ask the police to enforce it, and now they find themselves facing felony charges. So you can imagine how they feel.
Officer Horlock is also charged with perjury. The 2 women have also filed a federal lawsuit against the officers, as well as 2 other officers involved in the arrests. Hoosiers out of work and struggling to make ends meet during the pandemic will be getting help from the federal government again, just not as much as before.
And this aid will impact more than 200,000 Hoosiers, but it could take up to a month for the extra unemployment benefits to start. Indiana is joining a federal program that provides an extra $300 a week in unemployment benefits. The payments will be retroactive to August 1st, according to Governor Holcomb, and the additional payment will more than double Indiana's average weekly unemployment payment of $280. And the money is certainly a much-needed boost for many who rely on unemployment benefits right now. But not everyone qualifies for it. WRTV's Megan Sanctorum explains how this program will work.
Thousands of unemployed Hoosiers will soon be seeing some extra money come their way as Indiana takes part in a federal program to assist people with lost wages. Those receiving more than $100 a week in unemployment benefits before taxes will temporarily see an additional $300 added to that amount. For some, like Mindy Dyson, the extra boost is needed. She worked as a server and delivery driver, but was laid off several months ago due to COVID-19. She has 5 kids at home and bills to pay.
It'll keep us afloat at least until something else comes through, definitely. Which I think it could be the difference between people being homeless, you know. Some people are really hit even harder if you're already struggling paycheck to paycheck. I think it could definitely make the difference.
But the program leaves out a certain group of people. Those making less than $100 a week in benefits don't qualify.
I thought, oh my God, that's not fair. Not fair at all. I said, because the people that's getting under $100 need the help more than anything.
Leaders with the Department of Workforce Development say this is the first time they've seen a requirement like this, but they say it's not state specific. This is all part of the federal guidelines. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
And the Department of Workforce Development is getting the programs and systems in place to get the money to those who qualify. They don't have an exact timeline yet, but hope to distribute the back pay by the end of September.
That unemployment aid continues to be a lifeline as new claims for unemployment continue to climb both nationally and here in Indiana. New numbers came out today from the Department of Labor. Last week, more than 11,000 Hoosiers filed for unemployment for the first time. That's more than 1,000 higher than the previous week. Nationally, first-time claims once again surpassed the 1 million mark after dropping below that level last week. The report means claims for benefits have now remained historically high for 22 consecutive weeks. That was the economic picture. Now the medical impact from coronavirus. 955 more Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus, the highest number in this 5-day period. Those results were recorded between Friday and yesterday. In total, more than 83,000 people have tested positive. The overall positivity rate remains at 8.8%. 11 more Hoosiers have died from COVID-19, those deaths occurring between August 1st and yesterday. Overall, 2,029 people in Indiana have died from the virus.
Avon High School students were supposed to begin their hybrid schedule today due to the pandemic, but that changed. A widespread internet outage affecting the school's internet service prompted teachers to work remotely and the district to do e-learning again today. RTV6's Stephanie Wade is looking into what problems like these mean for families during the age of e-learning.
As school districts across the state move to online learning in the wake of the pandemic, they face potential challenges like these. Avon High School sending parents this email this morning stating they would not begin hybrid learning today as scheduled because of an internet outage, saying, quote, "Our instruction is based almost entirely on Schoology, an internet-based program, and without internet access, it is impossible to implement our schedule as planned."
The challenge is going to be, is this what looks to be an intermediate internet access? How many times is this going to happen throughout the year? And so now if you're in Avon Schools, or if you're indeed in any school corporation around the state, you're thinking in the back of my mind, if I send my kids home for a week, what if there's 2 days with internet down?
A recent Ball State study finds this presents a major problem, citing that 1 out of 13 kids in Indiana don't have any internet access. And broadband is unavailable in these communities 3 times that number, putting many students in difficult situations who do not have strong internet connection required for high-level virtual learning. The broadband shortage especially affecting those in rural communities where homes are more spread out. Economist Michael Hicks says online learning is workable for most students, but for those who are lower income with less access to resources at home or broadband and technology, we are at risk of losing decades of work, closing the achievement gap in education. Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
And just yesterday, Governor Holcomb announced the recipients of $61 million in grants to improve education connectivity and increase the availability of Chromebooks and iPads for students and electronic devices for teachers. Also included is money for MiFi devices with subscription plans for families without reliable internet service. The money comes from the Governor's Emergency Education Relief Fund. More than 674,000 students are enrolled in schools receiving those grants. Kyle.
Another beautiful weather day here across central Indiana, a lot of blue sky, and as we look over Indianapolis, just a couple of clouds out there this evening, and temperatures across central Indiana are around that 80-degree mark, 79 in Indy. We did make it to 80 degrees this afternoon. It's 82 for you in Bloomington, and Muncie coming in at 81 degrees. All is very quiet on radar. As we look off to the east, this area of high pressure is still in control of our weather. There is some rain off to the southeast, which will start to work our direction, but not anytime soon. So your evening plans, not a problem out there with clear skies. Our temperatures around 76 degrees here as we get to sunset at 8:30. Mark?
Thanks, Kyle. Just 3 days until they drop the green flag for this year's Indy 500. No cars on the track today, but plenty of activity. And all 33 drivers at the Speedway. Brad Brown has a look at Thursday's Media Day rounds.
Another of the great traditions here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, names and numbers on the wall for race day, as the field of 33 will take the green flag on Sunday. Today, that was all about Media Day, and we had a little fun talking to the guys about what they did during their time in quarantine.
Basically, start tidying up and cleaning up the house, and now my house is shining now. No, it's great. Did a little bit of gardening, for example, which it was just no intention before, but okay, let's try it. And it was actually fun.
Every day was whatever we could do just to keep the kids entertained, and I would come up with different things. My wife would as well every day. So We went through a lot of RC cars, a lot of RC car parts. I became a mechanic on RC cars, so that was one skill I didn't know I had.
Probably I was cooking more than what I normally do, because you know, you are close at home, locked down, and you have to prepare your lunch, your dinner, and you are experimenting a little bit, but you know, nothing good came from that probably.
My girlfriend had to travel back home, so I was sort of left alone here for 3 months, and I started cycling actually. That's probably what I learned. I've done a bunch of it, I think almost like a little bit more than 1,000 miles. So yeah, that's been fun. That's a new hobby definitely that I'll probably keep.
I learned some new songs on my guitar.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you learn?
I learned some Led Zeppelin.
Nice.
Yeah.
When are you gonna play for me?
I played it for you a couple times.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
You just said it's new.
Quarantine new.
Oh, yes.
Don't forget another WRTV Trackside special tonight at 7:30. Dave First talks with Tony Kanaan. We'll look back on John Andretti's legacy here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and I'll look back to 1985. Danny Sullivan spins and wins. That's all tonight at 7:30. Dave and TK coming up tonight at 6, plus a special guest in the form of a former Formula One world champion. We'll have that for you when we continue here from the Speedway. Brad Brown, WRTV Trackside.
We will see you at 7:30. Thanks, Brad. You can't be inside the track this year on race day, but WRTV will be there to bring you the sights and sounds Sunday morning. Join Rafael Sanchez, Dave First, and Brad Brown Sunday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. live on Facebook and WRTV.com. We'll be inside and outside the track. We'll bring you driver interviews along with photo and video blogs to get you ready for the greatest spectacle in racing. And if you take a drive through Speedway, take a look at the fence surrounding the unfinished hotel at 16th and Main. It's now an art gallery of sorts. Race team Aero McLaren SP has teamed up with Speedway schools to create a 148-yard banner in honor of fans who are missing Sunday's race. It was installed today. Students at multiple Speedway schools created the artwork. Kids at Newby, Fisher, Allison, and Wheeler Elementaries and Speedway Junior High were asked to illustrate what the Indy 500 means to them. There are close to 500 drawings for you to check out. This banner will be up through Sunday, and I got to say, it's really something to see there, really quite something out there.
I think it looks great. And the Pacers had enough tough game today against the Miami Heat. Game 2 of their first round playoff series, a 109-100 win for Miami. Victor Oladipo did play for the Pacers, led the scoring with 22, but Duncan Robinson's 24 led the Heat, who now take a 2-0 lead in the best-of-7 series. They will continue with Game 3 on Saturday afternoon. Game 4 will be on Monday.
The family of fallen officer Brianne Leaf and what the Indianapolis Motor Speedway means to them before race day. I'm Rafael Sanchez. That story coming up on WRTV.
And also today, a special honor in Officer Leaf's memory, how her legacy of service to the community will carry on in the life of a very special dog. The Indy 500 is 3 days away. Strange to say in August, but no matter what time of the year, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is always a special place.
Indeed it is, and as WRTV's Rafael Sanchez reports, the iconic racetrack has taken on new meaning this year, especially for those remembering a hero, those in need of a diploma, and those hoping for the end of a curse.
The Oval at 16th and Georgetown, where speed is defied. Where drivers dream of a destiny with the Borg Warner Trophy. A place that shifted gears, bending to the curves of history, serving as an airfield during World War I, and during this pandemic, hosting for the first time ever a high school graduation in May for seniors at Speedway High School. In April, routine tours and tire testing gave way to tears and testimonials for Officer Brianne Leaf. Another historic first, as IMS held a funeral for a police officer killed in the line of duty.
She deserves something magnificent and as big as that. She was always kind, and she always tried to do the best and help somebody out.
Because of COVID-19, the track offered the best and biggest space and place for officers to social distance.
Grandeur of it all, it was breathtaking and left us speechless, really.
It'll ever be etched in my mind.
Brianne's parents have never been to a race because as members of law enforcement, they usually worked on race day. Mom was a dispatcher and Dad is still a Marion County Sheriff's Reserve deputy.
I know, like I said, all the effort that goes into, trying to, have a good race day. So the day of the funeral, when everything went in with the officer, just all the planning and stuff, it blows your mind.
The couple, who raised a community champion, is well aware of those on track to make history. Most notably, Marco Andretti, taking the pole among 33 drivers, 33 years after his grandfather, Mario, marked a similar milestone.
I grew up with Mario, so went in and, so it's like to see that name, Andretti, so that name means a lot to the 500 fans, so, I hope he has a good day.
For the Leaf family, the Speedway is a place of solace. To them, a sight like no other.
They put their heart into showing that love of the 500 to my daughter. So I will forever see that track total different. I see it for the race fans, but also to families too that lost a hero.
Working for you, Rafael Sanchez, WRTV.
And this afternoon at IMPD East District, Officer Leith's home district, her parents were on hand for two special presentations to honor her memory. The first one, a service dog, is now named in her honor. The black lab will be known as Breezy. That was Officer Leith's family nickname. The lab will undergo training for the next 2 years at the women's prison where Officer Leith once worked before it is assigned to someone who needs a service animal.
I'm honored. Means a lot to me, but also means that they would do that for a little lab, to name it after my daughter, Breezy. I'm honored.
She was always kind, and she always tried to do the best and help somebody out.
A second honor for Officer Leith was presented this afternoon by Indiana Congresswoman Susan Brooks. She read what she entered about Officer Leith and her service into the Congressional Record, which is a record of the history of our country. She presented a copy to Mr. and Mrs. Leith. You may recall Officer Leith was killed in the line of duty in April while responding to a domestic disturbance call in Indianapolis.
Let's take you back out to the Motor Speedway now, where we've really had some great weather over the last several days here, and you can see the flags flying around a little bit in that east breeze, but it is under 10 miles per hour with our temperature in the upper 70s and partly cloudy skies. Temperatures all across central Indiana coming in right around 80 for us. It's 84 right now in Lafayette. That's one of the warmer spots. 82 in Bloomington and 81 in Muncie. Our temperatures this evening with those clear skies and low humidity will again start to drop off here a little bit. We're into the upper 60s by 11 o'clock, and tomorrow morning I think we could see some locations once again into the lower 50s, so you might need that jacket first thing. 52 degrees in Marion, Indiana, about 54 in Kokomo. We'll find those temperatures in the lower to middle 50s, a little closer to I-70. Newcastle coming in at 57 degrees, 57 for you as well in Clay County and Brazil. And we'll find temperatures a little closer to the 60-degree mark in Bedford at 59, and starting off your day in Spencer at 57 degrees. We are going to start off the day with sunshine here as we roll into the end of the work and school week, and temperatures that will climb to 76 degrees here by 11 a.m. And as we go into the early afternoon, we start to notice just a couple of those clouds that will be building in. Our lunchtime temperature in the upper 70s, so numbers will run just a degree or two warmer tomorrow afternoon. But we're also going to notice as we get into the second half of the day that humidity climbs just a little bit. It's still not going to be tropical or oppressive out there. Should still be a pretty comfortable afternoon as we get that high at 85 in Indy, Columbus, 86 for you in Bloomington, and 84 degrees in the Muncie area. We jump ahead. This is TrueCast as we get to 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, and that system that sits off to our southeast now, it'll bring those clouds across the area, but I think that the best chance of any rain is only about 10%. That would be from around Bloomington and areas to the south. Unfortunately, the timing doesn't go so great. Better rain chances as we get into our Saturday afternoon. Still, though, not a washout here. As we look at TrueCast 1:30 Saturday afternoon, you can see just a couple of those isolated downpours that will be developing. So not everybody's going to have to deal with the rain, but if you do have some outdoor plans second half of your Saturday, just something to keep in mind. 7-day planning forecast now as we put it together. Isolated shower or storm on race day. High temperature of 86 degrees for us. Looks like we're not really going to see a drop of rain here for the first half of next week, and that's going to mean temperatures are going to continue to climb here. We are back to around 90 degrees by Wednesday and Thursday. Stay with us. We've got much more coming up here on the News at 5.
15-cent movies drew movie lovers back to AMC theaters around the country today, including 2 in Indianapolis. AMC reopened about 100 theaters today, including Castleton 14 in this one, Indianapolis 17 on the south side. For today only, prices are 15 cents plus tax. Then tomorrow through the 27th, you'll get to see some of your old favorites like Black Panther, Beauty and the Beast, and Back to the Future for only $5.
I had to be one of the first ones here. My kids, oh my gosh, my son, I love my son to death. Single father, so it's driving me a little nuts. This is a good chance to not just get him out, see if he's going to be able to socialize again. Everybody needs to, I feel, kind of like test the waters to see what's going on. You got to keep the economy going.
Sounded like Dad needed a little break too. AMC is requiring everyone to wear masks, adhere to social distancing, and there's also reduced capacity inside each theater. Right now in Marion County, there can only be 25% capacity. AMC expects all of its Indiana theaters to be open by Labor Day weekend. A monument-making company is accused of bad business practices. Families say the company has been slow to deliver headstones and refunds. Call 6 Investigates is getting involved and getting results. That's tonight at 6. And still ahead on the news at 5:30, bringing a taste of the 500 Festival to the community in a year where so much had to be canceled.